Thanks for joining us. You may have seen this thick cloud of smoke coming up from the Fontainebleau Las Vegas construction project today. We were on the scene just as the fire on the rooftop was quickly contained, and it sparked a big response from Clark County and Las Vegas fire crews. Fire crews arrived at the Fontainebleau Las Vegas around 4 p.m. Saturday to find construction materials on fire on the roof of the high-rise. The flames were quickly put out, and fire officials say in this case, they're lucky that the building is still under construction and no one was hurt.
There was no occupants here. So for us, it was great. We weren't dealing with public trying to make that other hazard. So we were able to, instead of having to worry about patient care and those kind of needs, we were able to focus on firefighter suppression operations. As
for the Fontainebleau project, fire officials say they don't know if this will set construction back. Fontainebleau Las Vegas shared a statement with Fox 5 saying in part, quote, "A minor fire that occurred at the Fontainebleau Las Vegas on the rooftop has been quickly contained and there are no injuries." They added that the Fontainebleau is working closely with investigators.
Anytime we have smoke or flame showing from a high-rise structure, we call a second alarm, which is basically a mirror image of our first alarm assignments.
Clark County and Las Vegas Fire and Rescue had almost 90 fire personnel on the scene fighting the flames in triple-digit temperatures. And the deputy fire chief says that crews are prepared for calls in this type of weather. They had a rehab station set up so that crews could rehydrate and recover from the heat while others were fighting the fire, and they were rotating to make sure that the fire crews stayed safe. Although outside temperatures were high and so was the fire, some things were working in the firefighters' favor. They were able to take the elevator up to the top of the building, knocking down the flames within about 20 minutes with no injuries reported. And the cause of that fire is still under investigation. We also don't know if any construction workers were there when the fire happened. The 67-story Fontainebleau project was just getting back on track after many delays, and it had announced an expected opening this December.